Hello, nurses and midwives. If you are dreaming of migrating to Australia and you want to come and work as a nurse or midwife, there is a crucial step that you need to be aware of. That is the ANMAC skills assessment. This is part of your gateway to proving that your nursing or midwifery qualifications meet the Australian standards. And without it, your migration journey will hit a major roadblock. I'm Maria Favole. I am the founder of SOLVi Migration, an Australian immigration law firm, and I had 12 years of experience working in the Australian Immigration Department, as well as a year as a director in Australia's Department of Health. Now, let's drop into ANMAC's assessment, what it involves, and why it's important so that you can be successful in migrating to Australia, working in nursing or midwifery. Don't worry, I've helped countless internationally qualified nurses who were in the exact same boat as you. One nurse that we recently helped hadn't realized how pivotal the ANMAC skills assessment was and had just tried to push ahead with her visa application without completing it properly. It ended up causing major delays, but once we got her back on track, she was able to complete the assessment and move forward with her dream. This is why understanding ANMAC's role early on is so important. It is the foundation of your migration journey. We're going to go through everything you need to approach this process with confidence. In this episode, we'll cover 1. What is ANMAC and why is the skills assessment critical for Australian migration? 2. The eligibility criteria and documents required to successfully complete your ANMAC assessment. 3. The common challenges nurses face with ANMAC assessments and how to overcome them. Now, I've seen firsthand how crucial the ANMAC skills assessment is. For many nurses and midwives, like one I helped recently, it's initially overlooked. They don't understand the importance. They're eager to get started on their visa application as quickly as possible, but they run into roadblocks because they didn't prioritize this skills assessment. It's often one of the things that can hit a big delay, and they didn't realize how vital it was to have that positive ANMAC outcome. It's why I want to stress to nurses and midwives, this assessment is one of the very first things that you need to get done right. Once you understand that, everything else will start to fall in place. So you know you need your APA registration, you also need an ANMAC skills assessment. ANMAC, or the Australian Nursing and Midwifery Accreditation Council, is the body responsible for assessing the skills of internationally qualified nurses who want to migrate to Australia. Their skills assessment is critical because it verifies whether your qualifications and clinical experience and language proficiency meet the Australian standards. So essentially, it's the gateway to your visa application and ultimately your nursing or midwifery career in Australia. The skills assessment isn't just a formality. It's a thorough evaluation of your nursing education and your clinical experience. Without a positive ANMAC skills assessment, you won't be able to proceed with your visa application. So, let's get this right. It's essential. This step ensures that you have the necessary skills to integrate in the Australian healthcare system and work safely and effectively as a nurse or midwife. What do you need to be eligible for the ANMAC skills assessment? Firstly, you must have completed an accredited nursing or midwifery qualification that is equivalent to the Australian standards. You'll need to provide evidence of your professional registration, unless you're eligible for a full skills assessment, and proficiency for your English. ANMAC's going to ask for documentation like your academic transcripts, registration certificates, certificates of good standing, and important employment references. All of these documents need to be accurate, complete, and verified. Anything that is missing and pieces will lead to delays and could ultimately lead to a negative outcome. To be eligible for the skills assessment, you must meet specific English language requirements. This typically involves taking an English language test such as the IELTS academic or the OET or the PTE academic. And ultimately, you need to achieve the required scores. Many nurses find this part of the documentation process to be one of the most time-consuming because they need to prepare, but it's crucial. So please be prepared, stay organized, make sure that everything is in order before you submit your application. One of the most common challenges nurses and midwives face with the ANMAC skills assessment is incomplete or incorrect documentation. Nurses often underestimate the importance of providing detailed and accurate evidence in their qualifications and references for their clinical work experience. ANMAC's assessment is thorough, and any missing or incorrect information and things that are not correctly formatted covering off what they need, particularly in references, will cause delays and ultimately could result in a negative outcome because they can't properly verify your experience or credentials. You need to meet the English language requirements. It's not uncommon for nurses to need to retake the language tests, can slow down the processes significantly. The best way to overcome these challenges is to ensure that you're fully prepared before you submit the application. Double check all of the documents, follow the guidelines to the T. There's no exceptions, and there's no point in arguing that referees aren't prepared to provide things in certain formats. It's a requirement. It's what other nurses and midwives have gone through before, and you need to as well. Start working on the processes as early as possible. If you haven't taken an English language test, start preparing, get ready to do that. You need to understand what ANMAC expects and stay organized. Then you'll be able to set yourself up for success. Today, we talked about, firstly, the ANMAC skills assessment, why it is critical to migrating to Australia as a nurse or midwife. And that's because it verifies your qualifications and your clinical work experience, that it meets the Australian standards. Secondly, we covered off making sure that all your documentation is in order, things like academic transcripts, registration certificates, work experience, and your references, and of course your proof of English language proficiency, all ready before you apply. Thirdly, we talked about some of the common pitfalls. We need you to double check your documentation and ensure that you meet the language requirements. Make sure you have proper preparation. It's critical to your success. So, if you are ready to start your ANMAC skills assessment or need help navigating this process, please book a consultation with us at SOLVi. That's www.solvi.com.au. Let's make sure you're fully prepared so that your migration journey to Australia goes as smoothly as possible. Don't let paperwork hold you back. Get your registration sorted and then take the next step with your skills assessment. If you need to get your APRA registration sorted, I recommend you check out our nurse registration course. It's got everything that you need to know, including assessing which pathway is going to be best for you. You can enroll at www.nurseregistration.com. And if you check out the link below, we've got a little discount for everyone who is listening to this episode. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Making Australian Migration Easy. I hope that it's clarified your understanding of the importance of the ANMAC skills assessment. Please like, subscribe, and share. And of course, drop in the comments anything else that you'd like me to cover off in future episodes. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Making Australian Migration Easy.